just your friendly neighborhood trainers here, Kate and Lexi. And today we're going to do a video on therapeutic responses. If you're seeing this video, that means you have either already taken the class or read the PowerPoint as far as how to calm people down with voice techniques and things like that. Now we are going to go through the moves wherein we're going to teach about releases, blocks, and holds. Please remember for releases, blocks, and holds that you can only use them in the moment of a crisis, or if it is written in their plan, such as, if Kate does this, then staff will do this, so on and so forth. The first thing that we are going to practice is a physical escort, and we call that the open L. You can either do this or this. It doesn't really matter, kind of like you don't know your left or your right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach Lexi from the side. My hand is going to be in that open L, and it is going to go right above her elbow. Please remember, this is just a guiding hand. There should be no pressure, no gripping, or anything like that. It is a very highly bruisable area. Now let's say that I need her to go in the other direction. Then I'm just going to come behind, and my open L would go on that opposite hand then, and we can walk however we need to. It's very exciting. Please remember that you always cross from behind and never in front, right? If I cross in front, it's just bad, right? So always cross from behind. Now again, it is just a guiding hand. If you need a little bit more oomph or direction over where that person is going, you are then going to step behind, and your opposite hand is going to go in that open L, and that is going to go on their opposite hip. And this is your guiding hand. I want her to go to the right. I'm going to have my hand on her left hip. I want her to go to the right. I'm going to switch, and my guiding hand is going to be on that right hip. So you can switch it however you want. Please, again, make sure that both of those are in those open L's. Again, that would be an escort, whether you need to lead somebody out of a store, away from somebody else, away from an object they can't have, anything like that. Please remember, once you physically put hands on somebody else and you are physically stopping them from what they need to do, a GER does need to be filled out. As soon as we physically stop anyone from what they want to do, we are restricting their behavior, and proper documentation does need to be followed. All right. Next, we are going to start with releases. So first, we're going to pretend that Lexi has my fingers. The first thing that you always do with releases is you always ask them to let go. So I would ask Lexi to let go, please, but she's going to pretend that she's really mad at me because I wouldn't let her have her white chocolate mocha or something like that, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in for a handshake because I want to stabilize. The next three moves that we're going to do, I'm going to tell you to stabilize. I want to teach you how to stabilize before we practice the rest of the move. To stabilize, you're going to go in like you're going in for a handshake, except instead of grabbing her hand, I'm going to stabilize at the wrist. We see a lot of staff try to do this. No. You don't shake anybody's hand like that. You are going to come in and stabilize like that. Do that. You're going in literally for a handshake, except that you are stabilizing at the wrist. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thumb of the hand that is being grabbed, and I'm going to push off my own hand. Do not push off of her hand. It's not going to give you the leverage that you need, and now I bruised her, and that's a problem. So again, make sure that you press off of their own hand. When I do that, it allows me to curl my fingers out. I'm going to get her going in that open L, get her going in that other direction, and skedaddle. Make sure you always get out of the way. If I hang around, it's just open me up for punches or scratches or other things. So as soon as you get out, stay away. So again, one more time, I am going to stabilize at the wrist, push my thumb off of my own hand and curl my fingers out, and then I would get her going in that open L and skedaddling and putting that space in between us, okay? Next, we are going to do a wrist release. So Lexi's gonna grab my wrist. Again, I would ask her to let go. We're gonna pretend once again she doesn't want to. We're gonna start the exact way that we did before with the finger release. This time I'm going to stabilize. Now, the only way I'm going to get out of this wrist release effectively is if I go between the gap between her fingers and her thumb. Now, the easier way to do that is if I go thin. So I'm actually going to turn my wrist in the grip so that the thin side of my wrist is going out. The less of your body you have to shove through that gap, the easier it's going to be, okay? So again, I'm going to stabilize, go thin, pull out. I would get her going in that open L, and once again, put that personal space in between us, okay? You're gonna have to pay attention to how they grab you and where that space is. So if she grabs me from above, this time again, I'm gonna stabilize. Notice how she grabbed me. All I have to do is just pull down that time, okay? Because she grabbed me with the thin side already in that gap. You're gonna have to pay attention to how they grab you. Once again, I'm going to stabilize, go thin, and pull out. Open L, skedaddle. All right, now another way they might grab you was what's known as the mixed grip. This time she has one of my hands, and again, you're gonna have to pay attention to where the gaps are. For this one, I'm gonna have to go to the left, and then I'm gonna have to go to the right. It's always easier to free the bottom of your arm first. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna form my hand that's being held into a fist. I'm gonna grab it with my other hand, and I'm gonna pull to the left and then to the right really quick and skedaddle. Because I do not have control over a part of her body, I'm not gonna do that open L. I don't wanna try to go in there, grab her when I already don't have one of her arms in my hands already. So once again, we are going to form it into a fist, grab, go to the left, go to the right, and skedaddle. If she did both down, like that, again, fist, grab, and I'm just gonna pull straight down. Always pay attention to those gaps. Another way you might be grabbed is with both wrists. This time I'm a little bit more of a pickle because I don't got any free hands, but that's okay. She's just gonna come along with me for the ride. So you can start with whatever arm you want to. I'm gonna bring her over, stabilize her left. My left hand is gonna go thin and pull out. I don't wanna let go of this hand because I don't want her to punch me or scratch or whatever. This hand is gonna cross over. I'm gonna stabilize, go thin, and pull out. At this point, I would drop one arm, bring the other across my body into that open L, and skedaddle, okay? I know with that second arm, it's gonna feel like you can't go thin and pull out. I promise you, you can do it. It's kind of like you're just separating her arms apart. You're just pushing in different directions. Once again, I'm gonna bring her with. I'm gonna stabilize. I'm gonna go thin and pull out. Cross over and stabilize, go thin, pull out, open L, and skedaddle. All right, we are now gonna move into clothing releases. If Lexi grabs my clothing, right now I'm wearing a cardigan, I can easily just take it off. In a real life situation, that's what I would do. I would take it off, let her have it, okay? Let's pretend that I cannot take it off. She's actually grabbing my shirt or something like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to stabilize underneath the clothing, form my hand into an open L, come underneath, and I would just pop her off. Again, going in that open L and skedaddling. Pretty simple with that one. Sometimes if you're wearing like a really tight clothing and you can't grab underneath like that, you can either grab, I would grab from below in that case, form my hand into that open L, and then I would just pop her off that way as well. So just pay attention again to how tight your clothing is and things like that, okay? Now, if she grabs with two arms, what I'm gonna do is again, pick whatever side you wanna start with. I'm gonna stabilize, form my hand into that open L, and bloop, pop her right off, okay? My other hand, now I'm gonna come over and stabilize. Remember, I don't wanna let go of this hand. Stabilize with the other one. Uh-oh, I ran out of hands, but I didn't. I'm gonna take her own arm underneath and use her own arm to pop that other one off, turn her into that open L, and once again, skedaddle. One more time, that one's a little bit more complicated. Again, I'm going to stabilize, pop off, bring my stabilizing hand over, bring her own arm underneath, and use her own arm to pop that other one off. Now let's say that they grab your sleeve. with sleeves. If it's only one, you can stabilize underneath, bring your arm back, and just kind of, I call it ploop it off, but knock it off. And then again, because I don't have control of her arm, I'm just going to skedaddle. I'm not going to get her in that open L or anything like that. If she does 2 sleeves, now it's too hard to stabilize. So you're just going to bring your arms on the inside and just plop them off. And again, skedaddle, okay? All right, now this time Lexi has grabbed my clothing from behind. It's going to be too hard to reach behind and stabilize. I'm not a contortionist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather all of the clothing I can of mine to the front. I'm going to take a huge step forward and ballerina it out so I end up facing her. It is really important to make sure that you turn. If I just take a huge step forward, oh, I almost didn't get out of it, and now she keeps coming. She keeps coming. So make sure, again, that you follow through with taking that huge step forward and then turning so that you can always see what that other person is doing. Then we have the bite release. So let's say that Lexi is biting my arm. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stabilize the back of her head to my arm so that she can't just pull off whenever she wants to. I'm going to go against instinct. I'm actually going to feed the bite. I'm going to push my arm further into her mouth. This is going to cause her brain to go, ah, can't breathe, open your mouth. She's going to open. When she does that, I'm going to roll against her bottom jaw, and then I would be out of that release. Now, you're still going to lose some skin. You still want to fill out that bread packet and all of that, but it's going to be a heck of a lot less than if you would just pull out without following through. Stabilize, push in, roll against that bottom jaw, and pull out, okay? Okay, now we're gonna move on to hair release. So if Lexi would grab the top of my hair, the top of my scalp, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stabilize, and then I am going to bind those knuckle joints, and I'm going to peel back, and then I would thread my hair on out. Your knuckle joints would be right about here, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure. You just push down like that and their hands will open. It's hard to do it on yourself. I know you're trying, but it's hard to do it on yourself because it's coming. Anybody else, pressure point, you just peel back like that, their hand will open. At this point, if your hair is all threaded within all of their fingers, if another staff wants to come and help thread your hair out, untwist, untangle, things like that, that's great. Again, you would do the peel back of the knuckles, and then the other staff would come and help unthread your hair. Now let's say that there was a two-handed. This time, I'm not going to be able to stabilize very well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, again, I'm going to find those knuckles and peel back, and then I would thread my hair on out. I don't have my hair down today, so just pretend it's long and flowing. If my hair was down, I would grab it, I would grab their wrist and then bring it up to my head so I can eliminate that pulling action. And then I would go through the same thing. I'm gonna find their knuckles and peel back, and then I would thread my hair on out, okay? Hair pullers are hair pullers. They are gonna find your hair regardless of how you have it. But please, if you do work with any hair pullers, do think about how you're styling your hair in the morning. I would not want to wear my hair down. I would want to wear it in something that they can't get their fingers all wrapped around. It'll be the easiest to get out of that. The next is going to be the choking release. Now with choking releases, please remember this is going to be the one and only time. You never ever ask them to let go. We want you to keep as much air as you can. So, for the purposes of this video, Lexi's obviously not going to be choking me, okay? She's just going to have her hands on my shoulders, so just pretend. All right, so if somebody's choking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise both arms up. I'm going to lean back like I'm scuba diving off a boat, and then I'm going to step to the side, bringing the arm of the side I step to down, all right? If you are not able to lean back like that, I know it's hard, skip that step, okay? If you're unable to do that, then you're just gonna raise your arms up, step to the side, bringing the arm of the side you stepped to down. Please notice I'm not actually karate chopping anyone. I am literally just bringing my arm down to knock her hands off. The whole point of that move is you are trapping their hands between your neck muscles and your shoulder muscles, and that hurts. So they may already let go at that point, and then each step again is designed to more further encourage them to let go before you finally do that whole move. Now, what do we do if that TR hold for some reason does not work? If you tried it, it is not working, you are losing air, you're worried about blacking out, at that point you can do whatever you need to within reason to get out of that hold. Things we have done in the past as examples of within reason things that's not going to cause like permanent damage, like the toe stomp, the shin scrape where you take your heel and you scrape it on their shin, and then open palm to the groin are things we have done in the past as examples. When you go to document, please make sure that you said, I did the TR chokehold release, it wasn't working, I was losing air, so I did this. This way the state knows that you did follow that hierarchy and things will be good to go. All right, now we are going to do a choke release from behind. If Lexi would come and choke me from behind, what I'm going to do is I am going to raise my arms up again. I'm going to take a huge step forward, and then I'm going to ballerina it out like we practiced before, okay? Once again, make sure you always turn so you're facing that person. So instead of leaning back, we're going to lean forward. Once again, if she chokes me from behind, arms up, huge step forward, and turn. All right, next is going to be the headlock release. If I have Lexi in a headlock, what she's going to do is one hand is going to go on my wrist, one hand is going to go below the elbow. She's going to pull my arm down and then tuck her chin so that she can breathe. Her left hip is going to go against my right so that she knows she's going in the right direction. She is then going to slink out and end up with me in that open L in front. Always make sure you are slinking out the side that is holding you like this. She does not want to come across my body. It's just too easy to keep doing stuff like that, okay? So always slink out the side of the arm that is holding you. All right, if Lexi has me in a headlock in a chair, what I'm gonna do is gonna be a tiny bit different. My first hand is still gonna go on that wrist. My second hand is gonna go right above the elbow this time. Before we did it like this, now we're gonna do it like this. I am going to peel down and tuck my chin, and then I'm gonna slide back in my chair and end up out and in front. That would work if that would be a stable chair that does not move. Now you can't see it, but right now I'm in a wheelie chair. So same thing. She is going to put me in a headlock once again. One arm underneath, one arm right above that elbow. I'm gonna tuck my chin, I'm gonna slide in the chair and use it to kind of wheel. I end up behind and then into that open L. I know it's a little bit of a complicated process. I promise that you can do it. Okay. All right, we are now gonna move into blocks. So if you are getting punched, we block like this. You're gonna cross your forearms and palms open. Do not block like this. This looks like you're getting ready to back. Make sure you block arms open, okay? Hands open. So if Lexi is going to punch me, I'm going to catch it in that open L and get her turning into that other direction. Once again, I am going to catch it at the elbow, use her own momentum to get her spun through and moving in that opposite direction, okay? Okay, with blocks, the side of the leg is where you want to absorb that kick, okay? So if I have to, I'm just gonna take it. The goal is to not, so you're gonna do a little dance move, jig thing. She's gonna kick, and I'm just gonna keep lifting up and moving. Do you need us to do that? So again, she's gonna kick. It's gonna be like a jig thing. I'm gonna keep lifting and moving. So the goal is hopefully she will not come in contact with me, but if she does, at least it's a side of the leg that is designed to absorb some of that pain. Spitting. Spitting is next. Spitting, what you're gonna do, your goal is to protect your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. So you're gonna cross at the wrist this time, And then bring your hands up to protect your mouth, eyes, and nose. If you do get spit at, please remember that you have to react like it happens every day of the week and that it's not a big deal. Spitting is the #1 thing people do for a reaction. Do not give it to them. All right, the final thing we're gonna run through is the 1-arm restraint and the 2-arm restraint. Please remember, we always start with the 1 arm. Pride is a least restrictive environment. That means we only restrict what we absolutely have to. Therefore, we always start with the 1 arm. To put somebody in a hold, I'm going to start by stepping behind Lexi. Once again, we're gonna start kind of like we were with that redirection. My open L right above the elbow, my open L right above the hip, okay? Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bring her arm across her body and secure it at the wrist. My elbow hand is gonna go palm out between her arm and her side, and I'm gonna secure it right below that elbow joint. I'm gonna have one leg in between so that if Lexi falls back, I'm in a good position to catch her like that. She's also in a really good position to headbutt me, so I'm also gonna tuck my head to the side so that my nose can stay how it is, okay? And this is the 1-arm restraint. We are gonna stay here for however long we need to. Now let me draw back your attention to when I went on that 2nd arm and I went palm out. Always go palm out. I don't care what gender, any of that, we always go palm out. We don't want anybody to feel that we were trying to touch them inappropriately or anything like that. Always palm out. All right, let's move into the 2-arm restraint. If you remember the 1-arm restraint, we were like this. Now, I don't want to go searching for that arm, okay? I don't want to, because she's going to break out really easily. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually fling my left elbow forward and catch it at the wrist. My left is securing her right. My right is securing her left. Once again, I have her tucked against my side and I have my head tucked. Please do not forget those steps either. We want to be on balance in case they would throw back. This way we are in a good position to lower them to the floor if we would need to. When I feel that she is ready to let go, I am going to go back to that 1-arm restraint. I'm going to wait 1 to 2 minutes. She is still calm. At that point, I'm going to disengage entirely. We always step down like we worked our way up. This way, if they weren't actually calm, you're already in that 1-arm restraint still, and we can go straight to that 2-arm, okay? Now, I mentioned lowering her to the floor. Please remember that Pride does not do any floor restraints at all. If she was slipping, she was trying to go to the floor, I would lower her to the floor, and then I would disengage and step back and monitor. No way, in any way, shape, or form, should you ever have your hands on a person in a hold on the floor. Once they hit the floor, we're done. Get up, disengage, monitor from afar. If they get up at that point and need to go back into a hold, do that. Otherwise, again, once they hit the floor, we're done. I'm gonna run through that hold one more time just to make sure we got all of that. I am going to go just straight from the 1 to the 2 with no breaks, okay? So once again, I'm gonna step behind, bring her arm across her body and secure it at the wrist. My arm is gonna go palm out between her arm and her side, secure it right below the elbow. Again, this is the 1 arm. Then I'm going to fling her 2nd arm forward if it's not already in my line of grabbing. And I'm gonna secure it at the wrist. Once again, my left is securing her right. My right is securing her left. I have her again braced against my side, and I would tuck my head if I need to, okay? And that again is the 1 arm and the 2-arm restraint. That is everything for TR. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Lexi or I, and have a good day.